Hi guys, and welcome to another episode. Today I am joined by Bodan and Roman, and of course Javier from EOS Costa Rica. Bodan and Roman, of course, being a part of Cryptolions. Guys, I want to welcome you. Of course, I've heard your name spoken quite a bit by some of the block producers that I really like and I really enjoy, and a lot of it has to do with your work on the Jungle Testnet. And for the Jungle Testnet, actually means a lot to me. I'm not necessarily a developer, but in some of the stuff that we've done with Trybe, I've got on there and I've used it, and it's been essential in testing a lot of our functions. I guess maybe we'll just start with an introduction. We'll start with kind of, the Cryptolions. Do you want to just kind of give a brief introduction of who you guys are and some of the things that you've been working on?
Sure. Well, we are Cryptolions. We're two of the three co-founders. I'm Roman. This is Bogdan. We've known each other for about 10 years. We built a Bitcoin gaming site all the way back in 2013, nice. And then shut it down after about a year of, paying our server costs and not getting anything back. But hey, that's how it goes. It got us into the space. I introduced Bogdan to EOS, and he introduced me to the idea of becoming block producers. And we've been in it from the start. We're in the very first report of block producers. We built the Jungle Testnet, I think, for our own education, but it became a real strong community, and it sort of became our thing, and we just decided to do it as best as we could. Yeah, and we've been rewarded for it. We're the number 40 block producer right now. So we have a business, we have an income. I want to give a shout out to the many people who supported the Jungle Testnet and continue to support the Jungle Testnet who have not yet been paid, because it does cost money to keep a server producing the Jungle chain, and there's a lot of people doing it. It's not just us. So give a shout out to them, and we may have some ways to solve that problem soon, but I'm not ready to release anything yet.
Yeah, that sounds good. I was listening to your interview with Jenny yesterday too, and I know that when you guys started doing this, that you weren't paid for it. You carried the cost of that server kind of on your own back for a long time. And the fact that you did that is a testament to a lot of the stuff that you've done. We'll kind of dive into the Jungle Testnet and what it is and why it's important and all those kind of things in a few seconds. But I want to give Javier just a quick opportunity to introduce himself. Of course, Javier, I've had you on before. Part of EOS Costa Rica, and me being in Costa Rica, one of my kind of local hometown favorites.
Hey, man. Yeah, thank you for having us. It's great to be here again and talk again with you. So I'm a co-founder of EOS Costa Rica. We're a block producer candidate. And when we decided to become a block producer, the first thing we did was join the jungle. That was our number one move, and when we first deployed our servers, and ever since before the mainnet launch, it's been a big part of our day-to-day and how we are involved with the network, and it's been a great experience. I mean, we've learned, grown, helped others, met people, tested our software, our code, our infrastructure. So it's definitely a big part of what we're doing as a block producer, is being in the jungle. It's also a great name for a testnet, right? Jungle Testnet, and goes so well with the Costa Rican theme and what we're all about here. So
it really does.
It's not so fit for us.
Absolutely. And I don't have to. I make no qualms about saying that I love EOS Costa Rica. I love what you guys are doing, of course. And you've been talking up the Cryptolions for a long time. So it's kind of cool to have you guys on the show and just have a brief chat. I guess kind of moving from that, if somebody didn't really understand, let's just say maybe somebody's new to EOS, what exactly is the Jungle Testnet and how does it work?
It's the same as the mainnet, but you do not need to pay for tokens. You can get it for free and test everything before you go live. So it's like the playground sandbox for developers, for block producers to test everything and be sure that it will work on the mainnet in the real conditions.
Sure. Yeah, I had a conversation with the guys yesterday, or not yesterday, it would have been a few weeks ago actually, but I had a conversation with EOS Costa Rica, and somebody kind of made the analogy that it was like when you're building a rocket, you've got to really plan and test find any kind of, dinks in the defense system, so to speak. And he kind of referred to it as like the toy rocket before you launch the real rocket, right? Or maybe even like kind of call it the tsunami pool before you actually, before you actually see the tsunami. So if you want to break anything, you really want to break it on the testnet. It's important to have these kind of tools because as you release things into the main net, you want to make sure that they're refined. You want to make sure that they're tested, and you want to make sure that they've been essentially thoroughly vetted before you actually release them. So this kind of provides the opportunity to do so. How important do you think that the Jungle testnet is for developers and just kind of EOS alike?
It's, for example, Jungle include the initial distribution list the same as the mainnet. So the most of airdrops was tested on the Jungles before do this on the mainnet. So it's important because you have the possibility to do the test in real conditions. So it's important to be sure how it works.
Yeah, we kind of had three roles earlier. It was a place for block producers to refine their skills, to learn how to be block producers. It was a place for sort of users to start tinker around, create an account, connect, scatter, and of course a place for dApp developers. I think there's a second prominent testnet which emerged a couple months ago, the Kylin testnet. And I think we're starting to differentiate just a little bit. And we talked about this with the Costa Rica guys, trying to identify our niche. And I think we're never going to be just one thing, because you want two test nets which are capable of anything. Because both of us have gone down for different reasons at different times. So at least there was one available. But I think we're going to be like 70%, 80% dApp developers and users, as opposed to like helping BPs do micro optimizations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
By the way, during this time in the Jungles was created 86,000 accounts by users. So
that's after the initial distribution, 86,000 additional accounts were created by people using it. So
since June.
Yeah. So it's valid. And as I was kind of saying or alluding to before, working on Trybe, like we test everything on the Jungle testnet, and it's, for me, as somebody who is maybe not so much involved on the development side, when I had to create a Jungle account, attach it to my scatter, it became very, very real that it sunk in how important having these testing environments is. Because I think before maybe I'd heard of the Jungle testnet and I thought that maybe it wasn't something that I personally needed as kind of somebody who explores the EOS space, but this stuff is crucial. This stuff is crucial because if guys don't have a place to test it on, if guys don't have a place to really check out what they're doing and verify, if you're going to break something, you want to break it in the Jungle testnet, right? You don't want to break it on.
A lot of times we break Jungle.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot what used to be the most important function. So there's block producers, dApp developers, users, but there's also the updates, the core updates. They always go to the test nets before they get released, and we've had some adventures there. Most recently with 1.40. We found a bug in
1.10 were bugged. So a lot of bugs were found in Jungles during this time.
Yeah, it's important.
It was a nice story described by EOS Metal, how we broke Jungles 2 times in a row, 11 days before mainnet launch. So yeah, I'll describe it.
Yeah. Javier, I saw you kind of, you were about to say something. What was it before
I think that like any software development process would require testing. It's just like best practices. It's got to be part of the life cycle for deploying any application. Testing is crucial. So yeah, this is definitely adding a lot of value to the network. I've also broken the Jungle once or twice before, and it's exactly what it's there for, right? To provide a safe space for people to experiment and also a thriving ecosystem or community where people can ask questions and doesn't matter what level you are. You can be a block producer or just a developer who's just starting. You can join our Telegram and ask a question, and there's a community that's willing to help and answer questions. So I think that's really important as well, not just the infrastructure, but the group of people that are involved.
I'm going to make sure that I provide the links, of course, to the JungleNet Telegram. And also I'm going to provide a bunch of information on EOS Costa Rica and Cryptolions, because I think that you guys do so much work behind the scenes, and I just think that it's important that you guys get a little bit of recognition for some of the incredible contributions that you guys are doing, because I know it's easy to, I think that the people who really put in the work behind the scenes to make the system run, such as yourselves, just need a little bit of acknowledgement. And I know how hard you guys work. And I've spoken to the community, and your name comes up often. So it's cool to be able to sit down and have a chat with you. Now, I understand you guys are doing something different. We've got kind of JungleNet 2.0, which is coming out. What are some of the improvements, and when does JungleNet 2.0 actually launch?
Okay, first of all, Costa Rica built nice entry point to the jungles. It's the Testnet.io webpage, and we will have new monitor and new install scripts. First of all, it will be the new chain. It will allow users to sync fast and skip these poison blocks that we have right now in Jungle Classic. So it's really hard now to sync and start testing. So
let's talk about those poison blocks maybe, because the sync process is ridiculous, because you have to be on different versions of EOS.io software at different points in the synchronization. So for somebody that's a brand new person trying to raise a node, that's a pretty high barrier to entry. And that's probably the main reason why the discussions about resetting started, so we could get rid of those poisonous blocks.
By the way, the new history plugin in the new version need to replay old blockchain, and it's impossible to do this in jungles without downgrade. But so is the loop like.
No, I get it. I think it's, as I kind of mentioned, it's really important work that's being done for the community, and it's cool to be able to sit down and chat with you guys about it. Can you guys, are there any future plans for Jungle Testnet? Of course, we just have a new upgrade coming to Jungle Testnet, so it's not as if there's not a ton of development happening, but is there anything that's kind of coming up in the future that might be important towards the future of Jungle?
Well, apart from the website, which is an open source website and anyone can contribute, and we really want to be a community-driven effort, so the doors are open for any other contributors who are interested in adding content or improving content to the website. We've also installed a new documentation engine where we want to have people add frequently asked questions and tutorials and just a lot of helpful information for people to get started or to do deeper dives into the jungle. And we'd like to also communicate the value of running these test nets. And I think it'd be really cool to make like a bug hall of fame, right? Like all the bugs that have come out of the jungle. We've caught a few bullets for the mainnet in the jungle, right? Like running the software that hasn't been tested yet, finding bugs, reporting those, getting those fixed, and then finally deploying the stable version to the mainnet. So I think it's really important for people to know that resource is available, that it's a free resource, and that the doors are open for anyone to join in. And we're just adding more mechanisms for people to be able to contribute as far as building scripts, software, documentation, anything that can be helpful for others. And I think that's the great spirit of the jungle, like reciprocating, right? We learned so much in the jungle, and we grew up like as a block producer in the jungle, and we'd also like to mentor those new jungle participants and teaching them how things are working and anything we can do to help. It's great because we feel we also got a lot from the jungle, so we're happy to contribute. We hope that spirit catches on.
It's kind of like the gateway drug to developing. You know what I mean? Like at least for me, it was
free.
Yeah, first one's free. No, for me, it was interesting because my first interaction with the Jungle Testnet really highlighted how important it is. Having the chance to go in there and explore around and get me some sweet jungle EOS and use it through some of the various applications that we were testing. It really began to strike home that this is important, this is needed. That you guys are doing a fantastic job. So I'm going to make sure, as I said, Cryptolions, guys, it's the first time I've talked to you. I'm already a huge fan just because I know about everything that you guys are doing and all the work that you're putting in. You guys have a great reputation in the community. Of course, Javier, you know I've got a lot of love for you guys, being the hometown favorites as well. So I think mostly on behalf of the community, I want to thank you guys for what you're doing. I really do encourage somebody. I understand you also have a new Discord set up as well. So I'm going to put all the links below, because the truth of the matter is that the mainnet needs the Jungle Testnet. And I understand that there's more than one testnet, but at the same time, having multiple testnets is a good thing. You guys have caught a lot of bullets. You've broken a lot of toy rockets, so we appreciate that. Is there anything else that you guys kind of wanted to say to the community about the Jungle Testnet, or where they might be able to find you, or how they could somehow get involved?
Well, I think just the basics of what people need to know. If users want us to migrate their accounts, there's a form on the bottom of jungletestnet.io. And for any block producers that might be listening, the Jungle Classic chain will pause on Friday. We're going to move it to just our local block producers, and then they could just reconfigure their servers for Jungle 2. So that's the basics of what users need to know, what dApp developers need to know on one hand, and block producers on the other.
Sounds great. And as I said, it was my first little kind of deep dive into the world of, it's not developing, but just kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit and seeing all the hard work that goes in behind the scenes. So I really do appreciate what you guys are doing. I think that anybody really knows, what the Jungle Testnet is all about. Also appreciates the community efforts that you guys are putting into. I wanted to know, and I wanted to ask you, are you guys going to go to EOS Surf? Are we going to see you there?
Well, not at a $4 token price, at least not for a while. But, if the things turn around, that's high on our list of priorities. I've been to Costa Rica once. It was probably the most beautiful vacation I've ever had, and I really want to go back and learn how to surf.
Yeah, definitely. And for anybody who hasn't caught, EOS Surf, of course, is put on by EOS Costa Rica, which is kind of, EOS and surfing adventures. Come check out Costa Rica. I'll put a link to that below as well. There's a bit of a shameless plug for you, Javier. Where can people kind of reach out and find more about the Cryptolions and what you guys are doing and some of your efforts? Where can they get a hold of you if they want to get involved?
You can link to all our media and Telegram on Cryptolions.io, and we live online, so we're not hard to track down.
You bet. And of course, I will do the same for EOS Costa Rica, one of my favorite BPs as well. So I guess just thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me. And I hope that anytime you guys have any new updates or anytime you're doing something with the community, that you'll reach out, because I know what you guys do behind the scenes, and I'd love to be a part of kind of highlighting some of your efforts. I really appreciate it. And I know that the community appreciates it. I know that it's needed. So guys, it's always a pleasure to chat with you, and I look forward to hopefully doing this again sometime soon.
It's been our pleasure. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. We really appreciate what you're doing as well for the community, and keep it up.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure and an honor. I live for this stuff. So thank you. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon.